Oh, hello? Someone's phone?
That's not mine.
Okay. All right. And we're recording. So this is live on our FCBR members page, and it is being recorded. So try not to say too many swear words. Steve Leaker. Just kidding.
Hey.
I figured it was going to be one Steve or the other.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's right. So we just want to go over a few things and see if you guys have any questions that we can relay to the rest of our agents and make sure we're all on the same page.
I'm back.
So the first thing we're going to talk about is getting involved with your Missouri Realtors count. So now is a good chance, a good time to set up your profile in the landing. I think that several of you have a landing page, but
Yes.
The nice thing about it is they put updates on there constantly. The Missouri Realtors page is updated daily. So I just wanted to show you guys. Oops.
Not it.
Hold on one second. I want to screen share this page. Share and share. All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
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 So this is the Missouri Realtors Coronavirus Guide. And before we go through anything else, I just want to make sure that everybody is aware of it. It really does have everything a realtor needs to know in Missouri. So if you go to MissouriRealtors.org, it's a screen or a banner right on the top that you can click on, and it takes you to this page. So it does have your stay-at-home order for Missouri, any new forms that they've created specifically for Corona, open house guidelines from NAR, unemployment benefit FAQs, paycheck protection FAQs, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And then all the new notary stuff is on here as well. And then towards the bottom is any additional resources. So please check that out if you haven't already, because it is a really, really good resource to have. All right, so next thing we're going to talk about is marketing and open houses. Do you guys want to go ahead and...
Before we get going, hey, if everybody would be kind enough to mute your phone and or screen until you have something to talk about. There is some feedback coming through. We want to make sure that we have a good audio connection so that we can get this information out there.
Okay, if we want to talk about, Amanda got started. I'm assuming everybody online knows who we are. Amanda Nemeth is our AE. I'm Gina Parmentier, this year's 20 president, and Steve Flannery is the president-elect for next year.
God, what a terrible host I am for not
I know
introducing us. We
I
also,
had my chicken.
You
right?
just jumped right into business.
Just jumped
Nothing
right
wrong
into
with that.
business, but that's good.
You might also hear another lady voice, and that's my pal Sarah Summers from Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. She's behind the camera as our third mic, so she's going to be letting us know if there's any questions that are coming through on the chat or Facebook Live.
Right. So basically on the marketing and open houses, as previous at our last meeting that we had, and we did this, we talked about, and we had sent letters to our commissioners, and that's within our board, that we would not hold any open houses. Now, according the traditional open house where people just come in and walk through, according to NAR, and we are on the Homeland Security list as essential workers, we could do an open house via Skype or walk through and do a virtual type
tour.
open house. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is social media posts. Nobody wants to monitor everybody and really tell you guys what to do. But please, whenever, you do have a closing, or somebody lists a house, remember that when you post stuff, you need to post it with all the social distancing in mind, so that we're not violating anything like that. And as brokers, look out and watch what your agents are doing to make sure they're staying within the recommended guidelines within MAR, NAR, and Homeland Security, so that we don't get the essential worker taken away from us.
Let Dixie out, please.
And then, did somebody say something?
That was
Just
Cindy.
background noise?
Yeah, just
Okay.
background noise.
And then the other thing I wanted to state, what happened in the state of Colorado, we did get news, some of the agents or realtors or whatever in Colorado were not following the recommended protocol, with it be Homeland Security, NAR regulations, with all this social distancing, and actually they got taken off the list. So they are no longer doing business in the state of Colorado because they did not follow the rules. So as all of us brokers, we need to make sure our agents are following the rules so we don't get taken off the list. And that would include, the mortgage companies and things like that also, because we're all kind of bundled in that same package. The other state that we did hear through NAR that has gotten warnings is in the Shawnee, Kansas area. Their realtors were constantly calling, whether it be their county commissioners, whether it be their local city administrators or their state offices on, what can we do? What can we do here? What can we do there? And they also got told that they are no longer able to operate in business. So we all need to take responsibility for what we do as brokers, and brokers take responsibility for what your agents are doing, so that we don't get taken off the Homeland Security guidelines as essential workers. We all need to be able to, I think it's not working. It's drawing.
Yes, just use your finger. You're gonna mess it
I don't
all
know
up.
how to use this stuff either. So let's just all be very aware of what is going around. We don't want to be taken off the essential list. We need to be on it. We all need to continue our business.
And what we're hoping for from you guys is that you really try to help monitor it. We can't do it all. So
No.
It's really up to the brokers at this point to make sure that we're not posting pictures on Facebook with our arm around someone.
Yes,
Yay, we
around
just
our
sold.
client.
And not drawing unnecessary attention to ourselves. This is one of those cases, I think, that less is more.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
we want to, not publicize that we're keeping anything on the down low, but
I did that.
oh geez,
I can
guys,
still draw.
note to self: Gina, technology equals
0. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I admit it.
And
So-
pay no attention that we are not social distancing right now.
we all hand sanitized here at the studio
We did. There's a
And Lysol.
and Lysol,
decontamination shower.
right? So Steve, do you have anything to add? And does anyone else have any comments or concerns about this?
I think we don't want to lose our ability to do business. I think those, if you look at Colorado and Shawnee, Kansas, are probably 2 examples. There may be more on what we're doing. Also, maybe explain to your agents why we're still able to do business and why we're considered essential. And really the best I can tell from that is we're fiduciaries, and that's what gets us in there. We have a responsibility to our clients and to our consumers. So we don't want to abuse that right.
No.
And we do also do have a duty to protect the public. I know it's more in the line of business, but this is just common sense. Don't do anything silly. And I know all the agents are motivated. They're getting out there. I have several in the office that are still writing contracts, but we have to be mindful and still be able to maintain business. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amanda has done some research, and MREC had sent us out information regarding the licensing renewal, which I know everybody's going to be concerned about. Also with continuing education, I will let her further explain that. Since she did get the paperwork on it, I did not get the paperwork on it.
So I went through this at Gina and I's last Q&A, and I put it out there a few times, but broker expiration dates are now August 31st instead of end of June. Salesperson expiration dates for license renewal are October 31st instead of September. Same with continuing education. So brokers have to have all their CE in by August 31st and salesperson by October 31st. The core class is still Code of Ethics. So that's still your essential class that you have to take. It's required. CE hours completed after June 30th for brokers or September 30th for salespeople cannot also be used for 2020 renewals just because it's later. So license applications for those applicants completing the 48-hour Missouri salesperson or Missouri broker pre-exam after March 1st will be granted a 60-day extension beyond the certification expiration date. This goes for non-resident active license from another state as well. So after March 1st, we'll be granted a 60-day extension beyond the certification expiration date to complete all phases of the application process. Any applications that were sent to the MREC office as of March 23rd will be processed through the best of their ability. Keep in mind, they are all social distancing and working from home. So if you mailed stuff in, they're doing the best they can. Licenses will not be printed at this time. So as long as the licensee shows active on their website with the correct company affiliation, they are in good standing. And then if you do have questions, I have sent this out several times. So real estate at pr.mo.gov. Any complaints and investigations can go to dwayne.hickey at pr.mo.gov. Any education issues to terry.murphy, and any license issues to carmen.cobb at pr.mo.gov.
Okay. And then also just reviewing the Missouri Realtors website on the landing. It does have information on there about the unemployment benefits, and they're updated daily. Also realize that I can tell you the process, they're really slow and behind on the process.
So I did find out that they hired over 100 people through Missouri Unemployment. They had to rebuild their website because if you put in, and some of you may have known this, any 1099s that were put in for unemployment, it automatically kicked them back out because their website didn't approve it. They're supposed to be rebuilding everything, but again, let your people know it is a super slow process and to just keep trying.
Hey, Amanda.
Yeah.
Can I give a small update on that? So I'm Molly White with Missouri Realtors, for those of you I've never met before. We have been on weekly calls with our CEO and a bunch of our association executives. And I think what we're kind of picking up from the State Department is if you guys are going to file for unemployment in Missouri, or if anybody from your offices are, to possibly wait until May 1st is kind of whenever they're predicting that everything will be able to go smoothly. So I just want to give a quick update on that.
Okay. Thank
Cool.
you.
Thanks, Molly.
Thanks a bunch. And also just my recommendation is, go to your financial advisors on, what to do. And if you qualify as an individual or if you qualify as a broker, that's what I would recommend. And then also the one great thing that happened, I believe, earlier this last week was the notary, and Steve Flannery's a little bit more apt on that, and he's going to expand on that new electronic notary that's been passed.
So I'm going to share my screen for just a second so I can show everybody.
And Molly, feel free to chime in. I just have the surface information. You may have a little more in-depth.
So this
Sure,
is
go
the
ahead.
website.
But during the governor's been doing briefings every day at 3:00. I've been catching most of them. And last week, I believe, the days start to blend
Friday.
together.
It was Friday I sent this out. That's when.
It was Friday when we sent it out.
Yeah, but the governor
but
talked
it
about
was
it
like Tuesday
or Wednesday.
because
Anyway,
I did one on Friday.
yeah. Came out with an executive order allowing for the e-notary or doing a notary cam, notary of documents that really benefits us, okay, you know, with having to get into, or there's so a lot of the gets in with us and becomes handy because some of the title companies have been limiting the amount of people that are there. It's hard to get notaries in a timely fashion. So this really helps. Jay Ashcroft came out and spoke about it at the governor's briefing as well. The call from him at the time was he hopes that the General Assembly will enact some of the legislation that is out of committee and waiting for them to be able to get back in session to pass. But for those of you who don't know, to add on to that, during Realtor Days before the COVID-19, a few of us went up to our legislators. I know Steve was there, I was there, Amanda, Gina, Derek, went up and talked about it on this very particular topic of the notaries. And what we're pushing, we're asking them to adopt is what Jay Ashcroft would like to see, and that's House Bill 1874 and Senate Bill 593. Now, both of them are out of committees from what I've read, but then with them not being in session doesn't do any good. So I'm going to kind of also just kind of slip in here to a little SPC information as well, and that is your state political coordinators. I'm one for Representative Dottie Bailey. I think John and Bob also have their own. I can't remember who all the SPCs are in the board off the top of my head. But one of the things that we kind of mentioned to a few of those folks was a lot of our state reps are back in district. Some are still doing business. Some have their own business. Some are quarantined. We've been reaching out to them and just staying in contact, or at least I have, staying in contact with them, and also still pushing the importance of the two notary bills. And I shouldn't say pushing, I've just been dropping little breadcrumbs. There's other conversation that goes on there, but it's important for just this situation. I hate to take advantage of it, but like all good politicians, never let a good crisis go to waste. And so this has been a good time to sit there and say, this is why we need these two tools, or these two bills, and have this tool. Molly, have you heard anything else developing on this, or everything kind of been a shutdown?
So basically we're kind of hoping that if this remains successful beyond or up to May 15th, we're kind of hoping it'll be an easy pass for us to get. But since that's also the last day of session, May 15th, we will have to see kind of if it's something that gets put on the table and passed, but we are not kind of the front line fight right now. So we understand that there's lots of other things that our state is going to have to get done before just the notary stuff. So we're kind of low-key hoping that it goes through, but it's also not something that I think we're gonna hardcore advocate for, seeing kind of how the situation's going. The only other update that I have is from our National Association. Our DC advocacy team has been really vigilant and working nonstop. Filing taxes have been pushed back to July 15th. And then they've also adjusted the timeline for opportunity zones in 1031 exchanges.
What did you say that just before your 1031, you cut out a little bit?
Oh, sorry. They've adjusted the timelines for opportunity zones and 1031 exchanges. So you guys might want to give that a look as well. And that's on NAR's website, and I believe it's on our website as well.
Okay. Thank
Cool.
you.
Thanks, Molly.
Cool.
Not a
Anything
problem.
else about that?
I don't think so.
Same
No.
Maureen? Any questions? Comments?
Has anybody had an opportunity to take advantage of any remote notaries, or any of their realtors been able to take advantage of a remote notary? I know Gina has an agent.
Yeah, we actually did one Friday. It went very well. It was pretty simple to do. You know, basically video recorded it, and the attorney's office, you know, notarized it. So worked out very easy, and we should have a closing Thursday on that. So good luck.
Cool.
Anybody
So-
else?
Anybody else have any concerns or any questions? I mean, feel free to call me. I mean, be happy to share how we did it, you know, within the guidelines. It's actually pretty simple.
I asked the title company if they would do that this morning, and they're not quite ready to use that service, but hopefully they will soon.
Yeah, Steve, I have not talked to the title companies. We actually did this through an attorney because it happened to do with a marital waiver and a divorce decree that needed to be done, you know, before the property was transferred. So we actually did it through an attorney's office. And they were like, hey, we've got the guidelines. Here's what we need from you. Here's what we've got to do. And it turned out very simple.
Yeah. I've spoken with a couple title companies, just two, and some of their out-of-state locations and branches and sister companies within their organization have been using e-notary for a while. It's just been state of Missouri. Some can get up and running quickly, but I think just like everything, doesn't matter if it's the e-notary or unemployment or whatnot, it's all fluid and everybody's trying to shift gears. So
I was advised last week that this week Hillsborough Title Company was going to be in training on Monday and Tuesday to be able to utilize the the notaries.
Good. That's good to know. Thank you.
Someone, Danica here in the office, she closed one, I think it was Thursday, with Hillsborough Title, and the seller was in a nursing home, and they did, Jessica at Hillsborough Title here in Sullivan, she did basically video over the phone, did it all e-notary, so, and it worked just fine for them.
Good. I'm glad to hear that it's working for everybody. If anybody has anything else, I think.
Yeah, we can move on if we're good. I wanted to talk about paycheck protection plan, and I did invite Sarah from Citizens Bank on. So I was wondering, Sarah, if there's anything you wanted to talk about or add when it comes to this paycheck protection plan.
Well, you know, like everybody, we're just doing the best we can, and it's certainly the Wild West. You know, this was approved, I think, on Friday the 27th. I got my first text message from a customer at about 5:30 in the morning on Monday, wanting to get some of the paycheck protection funds that day. You know, it's not moving as quickly as folks had hoped it would. We have just starting Friday, we began closing a few of these loans. Guidelines are still real thin though. So, you know, we're doing the best we can. They are moving forward, and we've had some folks get those funds in their accounts. So guidelines are just so few and far between.
Okay.
Would it be good to, Sarah, would you be willing to make any comments on the SBA stuff that's out there as part of the relief plan? Have you guys been seeing a lot of applicants on that, or?
The paycheck protection, we've seen quite a few for. That EIDL loan, though, if anybody has heard anything about that or has anyone interested in it, that's something that you'd work directly through the SBA to attain. You wouldn't go through a bank for that. But yeah, the paycheck protection, we've had a ton of interest in. So.
Okay. Great. Thank you for your information.
Well, you know, we're here doing the best we can, but certainly if anybody has any questions, feel free to, you know, give me a call, shoot me an email, whatever I can help with.
Great.
Thanks,
Thank
Sarah.
you.
Thank you, Sarah. All right, next, Derek has some comments and anything or an update about Maris. So he's on the phone. Derek? Hello, caller. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I apologize not being on the video. I got caught off on coming back from an appointment, so I've been listening here by phone. So on the topic of open houses, as of last week at Maris, we voted to remove that option within Matrix. So there will actually not be an open house tab. We're following some protocol from different MLSs across the country had done that. kind of following order from, state recommendations to help us comply and hopefully be allowed to keep functioning our businesses the way we have been and are accustomed to. So that was one change that we made. In addition to that, you should see an announcement. We were told it would be this week that Remine, which is a platform running parallel to Matrix, will actually have an incredible program for virtual open houses, and that will be an option within your login, your dashboard within Maris MLS. If you click on Remine, there should be video tutorials and that sort of thing. We were told it'd be coming out end of last week or beginning of this week. And what it does is it actually creates a safe way. You'd be there doing a video of a house, and you actually have people log in. And you know who's logging in. You end up with the information of who attended the open house, all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of probably the safest option we considered for offering virtual open houses. And Matrix is still gathering their program, but theirs was more of like a link to YouTube where any branding and all branding would have been allowed. And we did turn that down for the time being until they have a better model. So expect to see virtual open houses on the platform of Remine, and a very protected and yet good for marketing kind of concepts. If you recommend a buyer to go look at an open house that's hosted by another agent, in theory that buyer still works with you and stays connected to you and your information, and that agent becomes aware that you have a buyer who is at the open house. So from what I gather, we were very happy with that model, and so we should see virtual open houses coming up there through Remine, and then Matrix will follow hopefully in the coming weeks. We have another board meeting this week, I believe. And on the last topic, does anyone have any questions on that particular section of open houses and kind of how it's changing and how Maris is trying to provide a good option for us? Hearing and maybe seeing none, I'll proceed to my last topic, which would be we made a change. As of last year, we eliminated coming soon. We brought it back in line with the clear cooperation policy implementation. So coming soon is allowed within 1 day of, in theory, when clear cooperation is in full effect, which I believe NAR has pushed back the requirement for implementation a little bit due to this. But basically our coming soon status says within 1 day of listing a property or advertising it publicly, you would need to have it in Maris. And it can be in as coming soon for up to 60 days. So particularly in our kind of furlough situation here with COVID and coronavirus protocols, you may be at a listing appointment. Your agents can and should get the listing and have it set up to do whatever stages they want to be able to go active and for showings, whether it be 45 days from now or as soon as it hits the market. We try to kind of make it where people can pick and choose what's best for the client, or their client choose the timelines, but allow us to still get those under contract and not have to worry about losing a listing. So coming soon status has come back in that regard. What I'm here to kind of talk about today specifically is coming soon status properties will be within Maris. So if I have a listing that came on the market or I put a sign in the yard, within 1 day I'm going to have it as at least coming soon, if not active, in Maris. At that point, when it's in the coming soon status, where does it go? And so at first we had voted to contain it within Maris. So you would be able to go look, or any of your agents would be able to go look at and see what I have is coming soon in Maris. What we voted on as of last week and passed was that coming soon status properties would go to any office backend that's set up with Maris. Option A. Option B, all VOW or virtual office websites would receive coming soon listings. And third, all IDX or Internet Data Exchange websites would have coming soon status. What we are not doing is syndicating coming soon to the major portals, Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, I think what I wanted to make sure I conveyed to the brokers on this topic is that as long as you have a website set up through Maris that has a VAL, IDX, or back-end office system, your website, consumer-facing websites, will have coming soon properties on Maris. You don't have to do anything to change that. What you need to consider is if you don't understand any of those words, you may want to reach out to Maris to see what you need to do for your site or whatever site you're using to make sure the coming soons are on there. What I didn't want anyone to do is not be aware of it, and then people with certain setups end up with an advantage. And I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware that you can have coming soon properties pushed to your site, your personal or company or brokerage website, as long as it's getting it through one of those three ways. If you have a site that's getting all of its information from ListHub or from Homes.com or from some other supplier, if it's not an IDX or a VAL, your website will not have coming soon. And I think it's a bit of a market advantage. So I just wanted to make sure that was shared with our brokers. They mentioned having this call, and I thought it was appropriate for this level. So I'm available for any questions if people have it, but I'll stop rambling here. And I think I've conveyed myself, hopefully, as clear as mud, because it's an interesting topic. Again, let me know any questions.
So Derek, one question. Whenever you say it's going to go to the agent or the brokerage website, you mean it will go, like, if say my office posted, it's not going to just go to HD Real Estate brokerage website. It will go to all the brokerages websites, correct?
Correct. It's going across our brokerage website. So as long as you are getting the feed from one of those three places. So the key is there are people who may have sites that, not necessarily Zillow, but Homes.com and Point Two Homes and a few other things, they push the feed to that site instead of coming from Maris directly from one of those three. So it's just you may just want to double check your site and see what the source is and adapt accordingly so that, your brokerage has, your broker site or personal site has the coming soon on it.
Okay.
And you also may have to go double check that there's not a toggle within your site that has coming soon off. So just be aware of that. But we're trying to make it where it is going out. And yes, as he asked, his listings would be on my site and my coming soon listings would be on his.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, we have a question from somebody on the online chat, and they wanted to go, I believe this is in reference to the online open houses, and they wanted to know if there's going to be a webinar available for that.
Yeah. As soon as Maris, we being me as a Maris board member, when Maris gets that, we're basically sending a mass communication out of, we are canceling open houses as an option within any of them. We're only going to allow virtual open houses. And even within Maris, I think there's a virtual open house option right now that you can mark and maybe set up a video type thing that would have to be unbranded. But I think Maris, yes, I think is the answer.
All right, anybody else? Any questions? Thank you so much, Derek, for that update.
Yeah, no problem.
We, before we get into the next thing, we do have Steph and Michelle on. Did you guys want to add anything about anything at all that the brokers might want to know about?
The biggest thing that I would add is just to be talking to their clients with regards to their current employment situation and just help everybody be on the same page with that. It changes on the daily. If you've got somebody that's under contract and they've been furloughed or let go, that is obviously going to affect their ability to be approved yet. So everybody needs to continue to work together with regards to that because it changes daily. Doing verifications of employment all the way up to the day of closing. They do have to be employed with the intent to continue at best of their knowledge, right? And that's going to be any lender is going to have those same constraints. So just make sure that everybody is communicating.
Thank you, Michelle.
I know you put out there before to make sure and remind people if they can't make their payment to call first, call whoever they're paying their mortgage to. I feel like that's also super important to remind people. Don't just not pay your bills, but make a phone call first and see how they can help.
Absolutely. And make sure that you understand, that they understand what the forbearance looks like also. There are so many unknowns with regards to that and what the investors are going to require when the forbearance term is over, if the full amount's going to be required, or how they're handling that. There's so many unknowns with all the regulations that are coming out right now.
Okay.
To kind of segue into the next topic that Gina's going to lean off here, I got a question for everybody. How are you staying in contact with your realtors? How are you staying in contact with your agents within the office?
Phone.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm curious what tools are you using? Are you guys using Zoom like we are? Are you using Facebook Lives? Are you using just,
Using my phone.
well, you're only one.
I'm using my
With
phone.
Gina, I'm just using my phone as well.
Okay.
I'm the
I'm
same.
gonna say I just talk to myself like normal.
You have a staff meeting. Yay.
So, and I asked that because, you know, a lot of folks in this time, there's a lot of questions going out with the agents out there. It's not business as usual. I think there's probably a lot less social time that's happening amongst us, or meetings in the office, just making sure information's getting out there.
Social for so long, I forgot.
Ah.
Social.
So, but that kind of trickles in here to our next topic of the tips and tricks of working from home and staying motivated. So Gina's gonna.
Yeah, and this is just information that we've gotten in just through all the several different emails and everything that comes in with the board. And
I was part of a fantastic webinar last week that
Yes.
was St. Louis Laura actually put on,
right.
and invited me to, and I took a ton of notes because I thought it was so great. So
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, she was part of that. And Amanda's been doing, just so all of our members know, hey, she's been doing meetings as usual via Zoom through all the different things that the boards conglomerate on. And she was on a meeting this morning, on a Zoom meeting on Supra. So we're going to have some updates probably in the next week or so on the Supras. So, you know, everything is still happening. It's all just a little delayed, and it's all doing, you know, this type of Zoom type meeting. But Amanda, I'll let you.
Sure, I can run through this real
I'll
quick.
let you run through that.
So for real, these are just tips and tricks about working from home. I'm sure all of you have already heard them, but just to reiterate, working from home, set your work hours. Don't work later than you have to. Otherwise, you'll make yourself crazy and miserable. Be in a crisis mindset. Stay calm. Be purposeful. Be factual. Be supportive. Show resolutions. So master the tools for working online. Example, if you're going to keep using Zoom, if you have questions, please let us know. I'm getting better at Zoom every day, starting this morning. So
Yeah, and there's Mobile 360, GoToMeeting.
yeah, there's a ton of other ones. So we just chose Zoom. And if for any reason you guys wanted to, you know, me to host a meeting for you or with you, just let me know. This is the board's Zoom. Trust and transparency. So be you. We're all in this together, and we're all new at this. I think sometimes we really need to hear that. None of us know what's going on. I mean, I like to use that as a crutch in my house right now with my kids. I don't know what's going on either. But
well, you forget some of us have been in the military, and we didn't know what was going on there. We just did what we were told.
Right. Well, but here we don't
We've
really
been in this
have
before.
someone to tell us what to do. So we're all in it together. Support. So set people up for success as brokers. Set your agents up for success. Reset them up for success while using virtual tools and communication. What do we have to do to ensure our teammates and agents are ready for success? And then also show them some empathy. Sometimes people just want to vent. I get the weirdest calls at the board office all the time. And sometimes people just need to vent about something. They just need a counselor. I feel like that's maybe 10% of my job. So just be there for them. As a leader, we need to remember to show empathy and again, remind them we're all in this together, but still hold them accountable. So hold all of your agents accountable, be clear about your expectations and coach them and still give them feedback. They still want to know that. Just in case you guys are taking notes, this also works for children. I definitely went through this with my kids too. Leverage technology, so standardized platforms, use the Zoom, the Microsoft Team, all of that stuff. Create power users, people that are super savvy at it, they can help. Like I said, call me if you have questions. Don't fully rely on the technology. Be a Gina, pick up the phone and call.
I do.
I get more phone calls from her than anyone else that I know, just because she really likes to use the phone versus anything else. So
I do.
use FaceTime or face-to-face meetings to keep in touch with people and see your face. If nothing else, we can keep doing these broker meetings like this just to see each other and to know that we're all in it together. I know Molly can attest to this. Every Thursday now at 3:30, I do an AE Zoom call with all of Missouri, and it's amazing. Sometimes we don't really even talk about anything, but it's nice to know that we're all in it together, and if we have questions, we can ask each other in a safe environment. Exceptional communication. So reach out often, ask lots of questions, schedule daily communication if you have to. Emails are not always the best way to communicate, so just remember that, even though it might be the easiest, sometimes you do have to pick up the phone and call your agents or hold a FaceTime or Zoom meeting. And then exceptional communication. So senior leadership messages, maybe have virtual town hall meetings, hold Q&A sessions, and again, schedule daily touch bases or times with those people that need it. Not everybody needs the same communication, so keep that in mind. Some of your agents might be tenured and not want to talk every day. Some of them might be newer and need to talk every day. So you have to remember to kind of use your discretion on that.
You know, that's one thing that we've been doing with communication. We took our Tuesday meetings and now have made them Tuesday Zoom meetings, and actually give a pretty good percentage of participation with the agents. Bless you. So,
Somebody get Gina some hand sanitizer.
that's right. She's just spreading the coronas around here.
It's probably horseshit.
But that's one thing that we've been doing, and it's actually been good for a lot of the agents. They are able to.
Nice, Michelle.
They're, it's just been a good way to stay in contact, a good way to pass the information along, and a good way to just kind of see each other. I mean, it is probably as agents go, as realtors go, the weekly office meetings are probably the most interaction that we have with each other as a collective. As a company, as an office, as a team. So
well, I think that can go
very
into
positive.
Sharing your achievements from the previous week and maybe some key goals and obstacles to overcome, because we're all in this together. So if we use those, Tuesday team meetings, if that's what you're doing, continue to do that, even though it's not in person. And like I said, I'll send out a survey after this. If we want to keep doing these broker calls, it doesn't have to be this long. We don't have to go through all this stuff, but I think it's nice just to see everybody and get our faces out there and know that we're all in this together. So build morale, recognize fun virtual events, contests, get creative.
I'm feeling isolated.
I don't know. Anticipate common problems of isolation, not adjusting well, not communicating because people are getting depressed, or maybe they're drinking too much because they're stuck at home all the time.
That's
feeling overwhelmed, difficult circumstances.
And that's those guys, those last few points Amanda rattled off, those are the key points and importance of why we need to talk with our colleagues, our friends, our realtors. Because this is a time that depression can set in. There is a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. And we'd hate to have more, I hate to use the word casualty, more casualties of this pandemic than just the corona, of people getting depressed and people having other issues and substance abuse and whatnot. So, if you see somebody or you're talking to somebody that seems like they're having a problem, just be there for them, or give them, somebody to talk to. And there's plenty of other crisis lines and numbers out there, but this is important. I think we've all dealt with depression from some time or others. And we know what it feels to be really down. Unfortunately, some people get to a breaking point that's not always successful. So
I got myself a happy light for my desk. Actually, I stole it from my husband because it was in the garage. I know, he's giving me the look.
If it was in the garage, it wasn't being used.
I know, so I took it, and now it's at the office, and it's crazy bright. It's literally called Happy Light, but I turn it on, and it makes me feel like the sunshine. So maybe you guys need one, just so you know. They sell them on Amazon. Anyway, keep your antenna up. Watch out for your people if you feel like they're getting a little out of touch. Make sure and reach out, and then respond quickly. So right now, we have the time, I guess, even though it feels like we're getting 80,000 more emails than we did before.
Yes.
I don't know about you guys, but I have 5 kids, and every one of their teachers sends me 6 emails a day on top of what I get for work. So
I've noticed more scammy type emails coming.
Oh yeah, you said that. Can you share that real quick, what you got the other day? I have not gotten one of those, but
Before we switch gears there, and make sure people are getting outside. I mean, the sunshine and fresh air is going to do mental health a lot of benefit there. You know, you get inside and you don't leave, and we know those agents that don't leave the house unless there's business to do. Getting outside and just reading a book or walking in the yard or cutting the grass. I mean, that's going to do a lot for our mental health.
And if you don't follow Ralph Gildehouse on Facebook,
Oh my
I
God.
highly suggest it. He can make your day brighter every single day.
Very motivational.
He
Yeah.
is super swell.
He gets up and go to the bathroom by himself and on himself. Life's pretty good. I miss some Ralphisms. We need to get Ralph in here.
Sometimes he even shares what his beer of the day is. That also makes me happy. So I highly recommend Ralph as a Facebook friend. So is there anything else we wanted to add? Anything else that we want to talk about while we're still all together?
Those scammy emails.
Oh yeah, Gina, didn't you tell me that you got a scammy email about something? I don't know.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
Good story, guys.
I know.
No, I
sorry.
do. I have gotten scammy emails.
Mary Kay, he can be in the video. It's okay. You don't have to push him.
That was amazing. I'm a little
No,
bit disappointed I haven't
I've-
seen any dogs on this.
No, we haven't seen any dogs.
Mary Kay, where's your doodle?
Like, she's looking for the dog.
She's got a baby doodle. Oh. Yay!
Dogs make people happy.
Right?
We should have a dog day.
Oh, that's easy. Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
I've
Cindy's got her dog.
I have been.
Just enjoying the laying in the sun.
Oh,
I can see it.
Molly,
have
where's your
been getting
beagle?
Some of that stuff.
hold on.
Oh, hold
See, I knew there had to be more.
Yeah, my dog's not
Hey, you
doing
don't
well.
have a dog, do you?
Oh, there's the beagle.
There's the beagle.
Aw.
You know, Cricket's been in distress here last 24 hours. I think it's something she ate. She's panting real heavy. It's not good. I may have to take her into the vet.
Oh, jeez.
So-
Okay, Gina, 2020 president. Anything else?
I do not have anything else. Everybody have a good day, good week, and call us with any questions.
Hey, just so everybody's aware, Ralph is watching from the Facebook Live, and he says he heard everything we said.
Perfect. Love
Good
it.
for Ralph.
Luckily, it
All
was
right.
all great. All right, Steve, anything else?
Hey, just stay positive, stay in communication with everybody. I mean, business is still going on. The numbers are dipping just a little bit, but you know, those of us that were here in 08, 09, 10, that's, you know, we're used to a downturn, but it's good. Life's good. Everybody's happy. We just keep moving forward.
Great. Thank you for everybody for joining us.
Shoot me an email if you guys have any feedback or want anything else from the board, but let me know your opinions and we will be in touch. Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.